welcome back to the Rise and Align podcast, where we talk about all things high vibrational. We are your hosts. I'm Demi.
And I'm Halie. Today we're doing a really fun episode. If you didn't know, this year in Chinese astrology is the year of the dragon. So I am not a Chinese astrologist, but I thought this would be a really fun concept for us to talk about and interpret it in terms of our perspective and what this might look like as, a witch, and how you can draw in the magic of the dragon this year. The Chinese zodiac is separate from what we typically use for or look at in Western society for astrological guidance. And with the ancient Chinese astrology, they do like an animal system, and the dragon is actually the only mythical creature on that. So that is super cool, and I think that that's very symbolic of like calling in your inner magic this year, which is so important to me and what I like to share and help people embody. So generally speaking, that's kind of what this year is going to be about. And dragons are usually associated with imperial power, and they can adapt and transform energy. When you think about that in terms of being a witch, like we've talked about, our power stems from being able to transform or alchemize energy like that of a dragon. So again, I feel like that's really going to call you to connect to your inner power and your inner magic. And dragons are really good at, I think, embodying this concept of balance. They're very powerful, but they're also very like elegant and graceful at the same time. And I feel like we'll kind of get into that a little bit more in this conversation, but this year of the dragon, I think, is going to be a lot about finding balance within energies, and more specifically, like calling in more of the feminine energy and kind of bringing that back into the collective consciousness, because dragons are very supportive of feminine energy. So it supports the feminine and kind of allows that to kind of come back into consciousness.
The dragon also spends a lot of time in a cave, so I think this is a lot about going inward to find what is your own truth, and then expressing that outwardly. So they say the year of the dragon brings a lot of confidence and luck and success in money and business endeavors and things like that. They also say that certain zodiac signs are going to be like extra lucky during this year. So I believe that it's the wood dragon, which to me, wood is like an earth kind of, it's an earth element. It's a grounding element. So that kind of brings the balance between the air, actually, because apparently Chinese dragons breathe clouds. Who knew? but the air and the earth. And they say that the zodiac signs that will be like extra lucky this year are the air signs, Libra, Aquarius, and then also a couple of the fire signs, I believe Leo and Sagittarius. So that's interesting, I thought.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's super cool how it can kind of tie in zodiac signs, but also they kind of have their own system that ties that in together, which is really cool. And I like that the Chinese zodiac is by year versus by month, it's just a little bit different.
It's interesting.
Really fun. And I do agree that I love how you put that, like dragons are known for going into caves. So this is kind of a year of like inner metamorphosis, because we are kind of guided to go inwards into our own little cave, but not in a way to like close ourselves off from the world, but to really connect so deeply within. And like you said, bring that outwards, bring that to the world, like create that from the inside out. And with it being the wood element along with the dragon this year, it does really help bring in that balance again with the dragon like energy. And wood also um, symbolizes expansion and renewal. So it's kind of like spring, where you are planting seeds and nurturing them so that they grow and come to life. That's kind of something that you want to think about this year when you're going inwards. How can you nurture your seeds? How can you help them grow and bloom into, this beautiful flower, this beautiful garden?
So I was reading more about the Chinese zodiac as well as like this year's predictions, and I found it really interesting. There was a part that said, especially those signs who that are lucky, quote unquote, who wear gold and silver. And I was thinking, I have seen so much gold and silver lately. Like it has become so popular in clothes and purses and shoes and jewelry. Like everyone's been wearing silver. I know like Beyonce like requested that people wear silver to her concerts and stuff like that. So I found it really interesting that that is kind of coming to fruition, even though like I personally had no idea. I don't know how many people know about the Chinese zodiac, but I didn't know. I also found it interesting because feng shui, which check out our episode on feng shui, is, I believe, Chinese practice. They talked about the feng shui color of the year, and that is emerald green, which is a really rich color, brings a lot of life. I've always loved emerald green. I'm a Taurus, so emerald is my birthstone. But I think it's such a luxurious color.
I love that. That makes me so happy. I feel so aligned with like the dragon energy and the grounding wood energy and the emerald. Oh, come on.
Yes.
I couldn't have dreamed it better. Okay. What's also interesting about that is that dragons are known to be the protectors of Earth. And they are, and like of Earth and Earth's treasures. So along with the ancient, like this being a Chinese practice and pairing that with feng shui, a lot of times they will have dragons in their home. A dragon is a big symbol in the Chinese culture, and that does help to draw in that idea of like abundance and luck. But there's also, so many societies have this concept of a dragon and what it represents. So in Africa and Egypt, dragons are known to be associated with water and abundance. And in Celtic practices or beliefs, dragons are known for magical transformation, eternal wisdom, and again, they're forces of nature, guardians of the earth, and protectors of nature and all living things, all things sacred. And like we kind of had said, they're known to dwell in places like caves, cairns, temples, sacred springs, mountains, lakes, and protecting us. So this dragons, whether you want to think of them as real or mythical, that energy is said to kind of dwell in these very magical, sacred places. In addition to this idea of protecting Earth. And I think that that's a good reminder to, like, if you want to connect with this dragon energy, like go spend time in nature, go to these magical sacred places, or even just somewhere local to you that feels like a sacred place to like sit there and maybe kind of dive into your own cave, like meditate in the woods, and then you will literally connect with your dragon in the woods. Like I feel like spending time in nature and meditating in nature, being quiet in nature, like that is how you're going to connect with your dragon, connect with this energy, which that's just like something that I perceive this energy to be in a way to connect with it, but that's what I'm going to be doing.
I got a similar message when I was reading more into this. I also was reading a lot about how, even though obviously certain people are born during the year of the dragon, and also a lot of people are trying to have babies during this year so that they're born during the year of the wood dragon, because it is like the most magical, powerful, successful, lucky energy, which I think is so cool. But they were also saying how you can embody this energy of this year to better align with yourself and your goals and use like this lucky year of the dragon to your benefit. They also talked about how a dragon dragon can be very sensitive and reactive. So it's important that you do go inward before reacting, to take that time to kind of think about like how you would rather respond instead of react in situations, because it can be kind of like a fiery, quick, angry energy at times as well, which I think, at all times we need to think about that balance within ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think that this this is kind of like a metaphor that's coming to me. I'm reading the Fourth Wing series right now, and I won't give any spoilers, but it reminds me in that, like, yes, in the series they are riding real dragons, but you can think of that symbolically too, of like riding your own, like you have your own inner dragon and you can communicate with your inner dragon kind of like they do in Fourth Wing. But instead of it being an actual physical dragon, you can think of that as like your intuition, your higher self. Like communicating with your dragon could be just a version of your guardian angels, of your highest self, and you can kind of communicate with them the way that they do in that series. And also thinking about them being a little bit more like sensitive, that is also reflected kind of in that book as well, which I think actually speaks to me, because I feel like it portrays this dragon-like energy in a very, very good way. So if you're wanting to connect more with the dragon-like energy, I recommend reading that book series as well, because I see a lot of like things that align with that. And this year, the energy that's being called to this year. So that'd be a good way to connect to that energy. And that also reminds me that a lot of times dragons are seen with, or like historically known to be paired with great compassionate female leaders. Like they're known to be ridden by females, and like goddesses. So again, that's coming back to this idea of restoring the divine feminine and using this dragon like energy to allow yourself to feel safe enough to bring out your feminine and connect to the feminine energy, because the dragon does support that energy and you can embody that within yourself. We live in such a masculine society. We've talked about this in other episodes, but there's kind of an imbalance, I think, in society, and having the courage to show up as your most authentic self and also feel safe enough to connect to more of that feminine aspect of yourself and bringing out practices that allow for that will have like a ripple effect and kind of cause healing within the earth, because we are finding more of a balance in the divine masculine and divine feminine energies, where just naturally things come back into balance, and just we bring more ease and freedom into the world. And I think that speaks volumes in terms of like what the possibilities are for this year.
I had a similar message as well, that like the dragon kind of represents your inner power, your inner being, and that dragon energy is very confident in bringing forth like your true power and your true, like who you truly are and who you truly want to be, and making you confident enough to step forward into that fully.
For sure. And again, like dragons are known to represent like transformation and change. So I think that this is a good time to put your efforts towards embodying like your truest, most authentic self, like having the courage to show up as that person and welcome change that aligns with that, alchemize your life into something that reflects that, and also welcome the change. Like don't resist the change, because I think this year if you're going to be resisting the change, I think you will kind of you won't be able to take advantage of the potential for expansion this year. Like I think this year you can expand so much. It's kind of gonna like, dragons are fast. They fly really fast. It's like they're supercharging you through to your manifestations. But if you like can't get control of your dragon, or you're too busy, like you keep turning it around and going back, like you're not gonna like reach this expansive like energy that I think that this year can bring.
I think of Daenerys, the Dragon Queen from Game of Thrones. If you guys have seen it, if you haven't, what are you doing? But I think, you know, it's important to be brave and to break through that terror barrier and to move through the fear in order to create what you truly want within life. And like, definitely change and contrast can be scary, but it can move you so far forward so much faster. And I really think we need to embody that energy and take advantage of that energy this year.
Yes,
Definitely. And when I think about Daenerys, like, the beginning of Game of Thrones, she starts out like real quiet and she doesn't really know who she is yet, and she's kind of afraid to speak up for herself. And the further you get into Game of Thrones, like, she's the queen at the end. You know, but she takes over multiple cities, she steps into her own true power, and she has this dragon like energy that she isn't afraid to speak her truth and do what she thinks is right and show up as her true self and respect herself. And she has like such strength within her. Like, she is a dragon. She has dragon blood running through her veins. Yes. I'm going to be embodying that this year.
Yes. I think that's the perfect example of like this feminine leader, like with her dragon. I think that the dragon, she didn't need the dragon to become that woman, but I think that dragon energy did help her to embody that and grow into that version of her. And that's just such a great representation of like what I feel like the journey of this year is going to look like. So again, another great resource of like how to tap into the dragon energy.
Walk through the flames.
Yes. And going back to this being like the element wood for this year, wood fuels the fire. So it's kind of one, you can find balance with this fiery energy by instead taking a step back and grounding into earth, or you can kind of fuel your inner fire with this wood element at the same time. It kind of, whatever you need, because maybe you are not necessarily in your masculine energy and you need to kind of fuel that fire a little bit more and allow yourself to have that confidence, that action, more oriented aspect of yourself. Or if you are like very, if you need like to step back and find balance, you can always ground back into the earth. And you can think about that this entire year, like always finding balance, because I think no matter what, when you have that like more balance between the energies of any energies, it's just going to be a little bit more fruitful and you're going to feel a little bit more at ease. And you know, when I think of balance, I think of like ease.
Thinking about the elements too, I was thinking like with wood it can be a slow burn, whereas if you add gas to fire, you know, it can explode and go everywhere all at once. So I think that that's important to be mindful of that balance inwardly.
Yeah, for sure. One other message that I got looking into this energy is really calling in or invite in the energy of like forgiveness, openness, communication in relationships, and just this really supportive energy for yourself and in relationships. Again, that kind of connects more to like this divine feminine energy, but it can be a year where your relationships can flourish, and just kind of putting in that extra attention within yourself and to others to allow that to happen. Like really focus on like relationships this year.
I did read something about that too, that resonated for me, and it was about being very intentional about the energy that you kind of put towards other people. So it was more so like allowing others to express themselves freely and like trying less to control circumstances and more to flow and allow.
Exactly. And I think that can be said for like most any experience that you're going through this year. Just welcome in more of that like flowing energy, less resistance, and just like kind of breaking through barriers. This year, with it again coming back to that idea of transformation, you have to let go of what's no longer serving you. And I heard someone talk about this concept of like dragons, um, they uh, like break through the bondages. They don't want to be bonded. They don't want to be stuck. They don't want to be forced to stay. Like they want to be free. So that's very symbolic of letting go of what's no longer serving you, what's making you feel stuck, what's making you feel like trapped. Like let go of that. Allow yourself to be free, explore, roam, um, adventure, explore. Like I just think of a dragon like flying through the night sky. They're just absolutely free, untethered.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that what is holding you down from like achieving what you want, of your manifestations, of calling in whatever it is, you know, what's making you not go for that and let those things go.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people, like, I mean, myself included, I think it's a human thing to kind of hold on to things out of comfort or out of fear that something better won't come. And I feel like this is the year to really let go of what doesn't fully resonate with what you want, to not be afraid to attract something that's better aligned for you, and really go for your dreams this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think lastly, to kind of add to that, it's calling us to live purposefully, uh, driven by our highest outcomes. And this is kind of where that balance comes in of like where fearlessness meets mindfulness, where passion meets patience, like thinking about how you can embody both or the duality of the experience. Because I think, like I keep saying, like the dragon embodies that so heavily of like power and grace. It embodies both, and balance, balance, balance.
Yeah, I think when you have that, just everything flows so much better, so much easier,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so much easier to navigate through contrast and to just be truly happy from within.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
when you have that balance, you're not like looking for it externally. It's like,
You have it.
no, I know what to do. I got this.
Exactly. Go back into your cave.
Yeah, exactly.
um, I had a few crystals that I wrote down that I think are good to help embody the dragon energy too.
Ooh, okay, before you say this, I'm curious if you're going to end up saying this crystal. So, when I was looking at the feng shui things and emerald green being the color, they also said that hematite was the stone of the year.
That is, yes. So, like,
Yeah.
black stones protect, because dragons are the protectors of Earth's treasures. So, any stone that has that like protective element is a really great stone to work with if you feel like that resonates with you. With it being a year of like abundance and the color emerald, a lot of green stones are going to be good stones for you this year. So like green aventurine, that's going to call in luck, prosperity, abundance, harmony, and balance. Jade is another recommendation, again, for the protection, harmony, good fortune, and wisdom. I feel like I didn't touch on that a ton, but dragons are known for like their ancient wisdom. Like they carry so much wisdom, and you can tap into that. You can tap into your own inner wisdom. We're all connected to all that is. So you have access to that, and you have access to answers. You have access to everything you need to know. You just have to tap into it and go into your cave and connect to it. So jade is a good stone to kind of connect to this wisdom. Another stone is amethyst, again for spiritual growth, intuition, wisdom, insight, guidance, and then labradorite, I think, really embodies this energy too, because if you look at labradorite, it it has kind of a reflection on it. It reflects different colors, and to me that like looks like a dragon scale to me.
I was gonna say, I think that's what dragon scales would look like.
Exactly, exactly. And so that to me represents that transformation energy, that transformative energy, and the magic, the mysticism, divine insight, divine guidance, and protection. That's all things that labradorite represents. And I think that using crystals and working with crystals, having them around you this year will be a really great tool, because it helps you connect to the earth. And it also, when I think of earth's treasures, like I think of crystals, and dragons are the protectors of earth's treasures. So I think that that pairs so well with this energy, using crystals as a way to help you through this year and embody all the energies that you are wanting to call in.
I just thought of something while you were talking about these different crystals too. Septarian nodules look like dragon eggs, legitimately look like dragon eggs. And I think that would be a really cool crystal to be using this year. I used to have one, and now I want to get another one.
I do have one available on my site right now, I believe, if you're interested. But yeah, those are super cool. Oh my god, they're literally in the shape of an egg, but they almost look like they're broke open, and it's like a black geode of like little crystally black.
They're basically
happiness.
Dragon eggs. They're so cool.
Yeah, there's like no other way to...
Yeah, they are dragon eggs. I don't know.
Yes, so that is so magical. But yeah, with that being said, like I really am just going to embody my most like magical self this year, I think.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, shall we pull a card?
Let's do it. We'll leave you guys with a message following this episode. As always, this is a good time for you to just take a moment to yourself, reflect, maybe get out your journal and just see what this message is bringing forth to you. You could even ask your inner dragon to give you a message from this card as well. So we have stillness. We're pulling from the Wild Mystic Oracle card set. This is what it looks like. I believe is this a heron?
I think so.
I think this is a heron.
This card represents stillness and serenity. Unlike the bear, who inspires physical rest, the heron card signals psychological and spiritual rest. The heron is a fishing bird who relies on stillness to catch prey. As they patiently wait in a calm pond, the water becomes glassy and still. Their balance upon their stalk-like legs inspires harmony, centering, and tranquility. This card urges you to stop and take a moment to center yourself. It is a card for meditation, mindfulness, reflection, and grounding. In Korea, the heron is a symbol of grace and transcendence above the mundane world. A heron on the ground is associated with earth and waters around them. But as they take flight into the boundless air, they transcend the physical. If you have been too grounded in the material or focused on the physical, then this card urges you to look higher. If the bodily reality of a situation is too definite and painful right now, focusing on mental journeys might be safe and healing. Out-of-body experiences, visualization, and higher consciousness may be calling to you as ways to get through the present situation. This card may also represent those born under the Western zodiac sign of Aquarius. The shadow reading is, as the heron strikes and plucks a fish from the water, the splashes of chaos take over and ripple out. Stillness may be the calm before the storm. Alternatively, the ripples of someone else's chaos may be threatening to surge into your world. Correspondences, the element is air, water. Flora is cypress, reed, lily of the valley, and magnolia. Stones are moss agate, blue calcite, chrysocolla, and jade. Spell work, promoting inner calm and peace, quelling fear and doubt. If you did listen to this episode, we've mentioned a lot of these things.
Oh, that's so
It
perfect.
always ends up perfect.
It's
Yeah.
so perfect. It honestly aligns so well. And I forget what you had said.
It really showed the balance between the grounding, the centering, and then transcending the physical through flying as well, which is it's reflective of the dragon as well.
Yes. It says something about how as the heron strikes and plucks a fish from the water, splashes of chaos take over and ripple out. Stillness may be the calm before the storm. Alternatively, the ripples of someone else's chaos may be threatening to surge into your world. So I also heard someone talk about how the year of the dragon, it may bring forth a lot of drama in its more shadow aspect. And they talked about, diving into it being an election year and stuff like that. A lot of like chaos or drama may come forth this year, but it's our job to just stay out of it. Don't engage in it. Don't be a part of it. Don't fuel the fire with gasoline. Like, find grounding. Use that wood element to come back and find grounding. And you had said earlier about how dragons are sensitive. Like, take a moment to think before you respond. Like, keep that in mind this year as well. Like, don't allow yourself to get involved in other people's drama. Don't let their chaos threaten or surge into your world. Like, stay aligned, stay out of it, just keep vibing.
Yeah, stay centered. Don't give any more energy to the things that you do not want to expand within your reality.
Yeah, totally. But I love that card. I'm so happy that that is the message for you guys. And let us know what you think. Let us know what you'd like to hear more of. We thank you so much, as always, for being here. We have so much fun hanging out with you guys. So with that, if you would like, subscribe, all the things, let us know that you're listening, that you love it, because obviously, why wouldn't you love it? Just kidding. Anyways, thank you as always, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.